Hello again, rally car fans. I reviewed this car when I got the Hot Wheels premium of it, but now we have a realistic looking one, and done by Tarmac Works Hobby64. So a little Wikipedia as usual. The RS200 was made between 1984 to 86. 200 of them were made, so they're homologation cars, meaning they could go racing with them if they sold a bunch to the public. It was powered by either a 1.8 up to a 2.1 liter inline 4. It would have been turbocharged because it was making 440 up to 700 horsepower. So 700 horsepower off-road, that's kind of crazy. That power going through a 5-speed transmission. And then sadly, in the Rally Portugal, this car claimed the lives of 3 spectators. So that ended the reign of Group B rally racing cars, the insanity of rally racing. And now the cars are more tame. Okay, well anyways. So this is licensed by Ford. You got a funky little hologram there, and then that information there. Stig Blomqvist, and I don't know his first name. I'm going to edit this in here. I was wondering, this is a nice drawing and all that stuff. It tells you some stats of the car and stuff, right? That's cool. But you can't really see the model at the shop. But because I'm a moron, I didn't even realize you can open this up. So now you can actually inspect the model, which I would have done had I not been a moron. They do have a white road-going version of this, but not for me. Maybe the red one. I really don't like opening panels, so maybe I won't get another one. We'll take a look at this, see how good it is. So the cover is very loose, and yeah, be mindful of that. And then it's got all this extra vacuum stuff. All this extra vacuum stuff because you got this separate panel here, which frankly I would rather do without, but people want to see engines, I guess. And now we got this vacuum forming here holding something in the rear down. I guess I'm going to have to probably unscrew it. Let's see if quality control number 8 did a good job. It's also, even though the cap was really loose because this tape wasn't actually doing its job. Alright, there's an antenna here, so you gotta be really careful loosening this. Just enough to get that out of there. Alright, there's some sort of scratching or some issue going on now. Well, you know what, hold on. Let's just quickly look at the bottom of this since it's already done. Alright, so the bottom is nice in the fact that it tells you what brand made the thing, what the car is, what scale it is. There's 3 screws holding it together, and a lot of really delicate suspension arm work. These little silver cylinders indicate that they're brake systems in this thing. So in this bag we have a little photo etched metal piece here. It's for the stand to prop up the engine cover, I guess. Or well, this is the stand maybe for the engine cover. Maybe the metal piece is actually to prop up the thing while it's on the car. We'll get to that later. Alright, so let's look at this. This is a waste of cardboard in my opinion. But I guess I have number 1872 of how many? No idea. So that's what makes it kind of silly. So let's put this on here. And look at these images here. I love rally racing. That's just not a normal image of a car, right? The whole wheel's just, off the road, trying to get back onto the road, and then just drifting through the snow. These are different rallies. That one has to be. Might even be a totally different car. But this one is actually from the Lombard Rally. This particular livery, I'm assuming this particular car, unless maybe they raced a couple different kinds. But I do see a B200 something here, so this is the actual photograph of this thing. The wheels are very chrome on this model. They're dirtied up, but they do look like they were shiny probably before the race. I don't know what this rally is. Maybe the Safari Rally? No, it looks somewhere in Europe maybe. Ah, boy. How to focus on 2 objects at 2 different distances? Amazingly, that's how you do it. That's odd. Odd that worked. Alright, so looking at the front wheel here. The wheel itself is nicely molded. You can see the lug nut details, the center section. And it's very, very shiny, of course. There is that brake system back there. The caliper is just silver. It's in like the 2 o'clock position. And then some perimeter bolts there. Now, the tire is what bothers me. Those are some gnarly treads. In none of those photographs that we just looked at can you even see the treads at all. So this brand, they're just exaggerating stuff for no reason. They're trying to make a scale model, but when you put gnarly tires like this on, it just doesn't look right. So a lot of brands have that problem, and Tarmac is clearly one of them. The Pirelli, though, is printed alright. It's not perfect, but at least it's kind of concentric with the thing. And then sadly, the actual tire is gappy on this wheel. It's not even touching the plastic, so you can't even blame it being deformed. It's, I don't know if you can move that around. Might have to mess with that later. Maybe there's some extra plastic flash in the rib. Oh, maybe, no, I don't know. It doesn't look so great, right? It's literally just gappy. Alright, so that's not good. And then the rear one is better. Yeah, this one actually, no, that's not touching either. So clearly it's a rolling model, as you can see, but it's not going to roll like a Hot Wheels. That thing. So this is why I don't like moving panels and stuff like that. You can just see a giant air gap here. When you have metal and metal interfaces, you can't have a precision fit. Diecast is a sloppy material. Everyone should be asking for plastic bodies if you want things to look better. So, yeah, unfortunately, I hope someone else comes and does this car. I would assume maybe Mini GT would do it. And hopefully they won't fall into the trap of having some silly opening panel where you just have that. It just looks horrible. Okay, well, let's see, moving on. All the sponsorship is pretty crisp, very legible. What I'm deciphering is if it's under clear coat, this decal. It's clearly wrinkly like a decal. Possibly, I mean, I don't know. I can kind of feel it, so. But here you have this air pocket beneath the decal, and not a fan of that. What's nice is the sliding window is actually in the open position, so you have a nice clear view into there, into these molded windows. Nice little rivet marks there with this black perimeter. You have a separate black mirror. It's a very stubby mirror. A little silver paint or maybe a foil sticker in there. I can't even get the angle on it. Alright, let's see what else. Yeah, those tires are just so unnecessarily gnarly. I'm trying to focus on the drivers' names. It's, yeah, it's legible. It's okay. Now you can see the wrinkliness of the decal. So yeah, this is definitely a decal. I don't think it's under a clear coat either, or it's a very light clear coat. So be careful, that might crack off in the future. Okay, what is up with this? Is this a separate piece, this door? Or is this casting just horrible? Look at this, there's like a crack here. And here it's all non-cracked. We'll have to see what the other side of the car looks like. Maybe there's no choice. Maybe this is like a flare out here. Because it looks like the door is, cut into that. So I don't know what the deal is with that. The door handle here, it's black. And, oh boy, is that a giant air pocket? I think it is. So, decals again. Horrible. You just have weird air pockets. Okay. The windshield here, some sponsorship printed on, or I don't know. Could be a decal. Might be. It looks like a print to me. Nice ribbing here, and then some molded in windshield wiper blades painted black. Pretty good. This is a nice grille. Could be a separate piece. I'm not sure. You know what? I think it's part of the metal casting, but it's well painted. Decal action again. The matching plate looks good. Now this plate I think is tampo printed. There's none of the wrinkliness here. This is a decal, right? Motorcraft is printed. So it's kind of a mix. They're mixing up printing, which is better than the wrinkliness of a decal. The headlights, yeah, they're clear, transparent, and they have some light buckets behind them. It's kind of dark, so let me find my flashlight. Of course, I lose focus. Yeah, I mean, it looks like there's some sort of projector or something back there, the way they used the peg to look like a round bulb. What is this thing in this vent? Oh, these must be the turn signals. But the shape of them is odd because I think those are decals, the turn signals, and they're creased into this grill, and so now they're sloped because this is an air pocket. I think that's a poor choice. They should have just used orange paint. They should have had some protruding rectangles and just hit them with a swatch of paint. I mean, the grill here is all paint, no problems there. But yeah, that's weird to have the decal there. Okay, let's see here, moving on. Yeah, those tires, not cool. There's a little fender here. Maybe it's plastic, it looks very thin. Decal here, again, big air pocket behind this door thing. There's a little lock detail. The stubby mirror. Such a stubby mirror, it's crazy. A little bit of silver. You know, though, this mirror doesn't match some of the photos. Yeah, it's interesting. Never mind. The snow photo has regular road mirrors, but all the other ones do have these weird stubby black mirrors, so I guess that's accurate. So here we now have just a black vent. Let's see if there's a texture or anything in there. No, it's just black, that's fine. And then the top there is a texture with some black, so that's good. The giant gap of this rear cover, looking horrible. Yeesh. I was debating buying this, but then I know if no one comes out with this casting, another brand, I would regret not buying this. Alright, well, you got that issue. Going here, this is all looking pretty good. We got some nice color breakups for the taillights there. They're translucent, but yeah, orange, red, the silver, back to red. Some sort of Ford badge here sticking out. It's not legible, of course. The shell tampo is good. The RS200 tampo is good. This license plate is great. All these vents pretty well painted. Not perfectly, but still good enough. These could be separate inserts. The color separation is so good. There's a chrome exhaust tip, a little bit of a recess there. So the back end's alright. This is actually passing air, the middle section there. Must be radiators right here. Interesting. And then rear mud flaps again. And let's see. Yeah, I mean, it has gnarly treads and stuff like that. But I just don't see a reason why they have to carry over to the sidewalls. Alright, the back, when it's on, we have the Rally badge there. Not particularly clear to see its printing, but it's a pretty complex badge, or this decal. Nice molded. Oh, look at that. There's some air, literally passing air vents there. That's a cool molding. And then some black and silver rivets printed on nicely. And you can see the spare tire there, maybe some sort of fluid tank, and then the intake manifold, I'm assuming, there. So it looks like it's a black cylinder block. We'll see, get a better look in a moment. Some contaminants up here in this blue thing. A really frail looking antenna. And then this is nicely printed. Tampo print again. So it's good that a lot of this is tampo printed. So that makes me happy to some extent. I just wish it was all tampo printed. What do you guys think? I mean, would you pay more if it was just all tampo printed? This wasn't a cheap model, by the way. So I kind of feel like it would have been better maybe just to skip this and just have it all tampo printed. So always it'll look nicer in the long run. Okay, well, it's time to take this off. Let's see what's going on the bottom of this thing. Some blue, it's blacked out in most surfaces. So, and then we got this stand. I do feel like maybe it's supposed to be angled like this. No, I don't know. No, that doesn't make sense. How else would this go on here? It wouldn't rest like, maybe it rests on the ground partially? Nope, that doesn't seem right. Maybe it rests like this. Possible. I don't know. We're gonna just figure that out another day. So let's see what the mechanicals here look like. So now you can really see this tire is just crazy. It's totally unnecessary. The shock systems are pretty cool though. This like lime green coilovers there. The chromed exhaust pipe is running up here. Oh, so there's a turbocharger there. Yeah, so it is a black cylinder cam cover. It's got a Ford printed logo on both sides. Some induction, so we have some silicone conduit or something joining the aluminum to this black intercooler. It's not done really well. I don't know why that's all covered up with gunk. Maybe too much paint. At least the front of it's though painted silver, so that's kind of neat. And then the roll cage is really delicate, quite thin plastic. And then what is this? That's another cooler. Maybe it's an oil cooler. Okay, so what would this be? I don't know. I don't know what that is. Maybe an air filter? That's definitely the intake manifold. Some remote reservoirs of some sort. Well, I mean, it's got a lot of detail, if that's your thing. It's just, I kind of look at the outside of a car more than the inside, right? I will never display it like this. If you're into dioramas, though, if you want to make a rally diorama, like a staging area, then I could totally understand why this would be desirable. It's just that I don't have room for dioramas or the patience to make any anymore. So I'm going to probably have to put some putty on this just to keep the thing from falling apart in the display box. And actually, this engine cover stand, let's see, figure this out, hold on. So the promotional images for this model, the stand is that way. You just have the wide part on the ground and it just rests on this thing like that. I also noticed there's a little silver paint here, like in the exhaust area, for indicate some heat shielding. So that's a nice little touch. This is plastic, by the way. It's not die cast. Just a bit of plastic. All right, so I'm gonna have to just figure this out on my own. I have a suspicion these go around the frame, maybe, like down here, perhaps. It does have the spacing for it, but where's the actual area to rest it? Maybe that. See, so but that, well, that seems awfully high. But let's see what happens. And then maybe it just rests in this nook and cranny right here. That's what I'm guessing. That seems awfully high. No, that's... Either way, that whole wheel just comes out. It's just held in by gravity. So that's the inner workings of that. So you can put this, metal thing towards that wheel area to lower it, but it's still very, very high. So maybe you're supposed to actually bend this piece of metal, because as it is right there, if I fit it into that cranny there, it's kind of like that. That doesn't seem right. So I think it's supposed to be more like that. So you'd have to probably bend the metal and stuff like that to make it happen, but I am never going to pose it with this engine displayed up anyways, so it's nice that they gave it to you, and being I think you can probably bend that metal a few times before it snaps. Alright, so I might as well put the Pirelli in the upright position. It's a nice wheel. Again, just not a fan of the tire. Extra rubber flash here as well. Another great thing about the extra wheel is if you have a bad one on the outside like I did in the front, you could maybe swap with the tires. I don't have time to do that right now though. Yeah, so that's kind of neat. Alright, let's do this interior. I'm at 4x magnification. My camera's on a spring mount, so it tends to wobble. But let's see if we can get some light in here. Okay, so nice. The instrument, cluster has gauges in there. Focus. That's as good as I can get the focus on the gauges. Alright, there's some red on the far side. That's a fire extinguisher bottle, I think, on the passenger side. I don't know what the heck those things are sticking up out of the middle. So it almost looks like there's two giant-sized stick shifts. But I don't know what the deal is with that. What about the door panel on the far side? Alright, so detailed door panel of some sort. And then, oh yeah, rear window. Didn't even notice that before. Alright, middle console, some gauge details there. I think the passenger side, yeah, there's like a computer, timing clock, or whatever those navigators in rally cars need to use. So it's not a road-going dashboard for sure. It's definitely a race dashboard. And then, yeah, there's this red knob or something next to the black knob. One would assume the black knob is the stick shift, but yeah, that's weird. Please leave a comment if you know why that red knob there next to the black knob. Oh boy, hold on. Alright, so the seats, nice looking decals for the seats belt harnesses. There's a rear view mirror, it's molded. And then the openings there on the back of the seats, they're definitely race seats, not road going seats. There's also, did I see? No, never mind. I don't know what that is. That a drive shaft right there? Yeah, what else would it be? But why would they have that? I mean, they wouldn't just have an exposed drive shaft, right? Unless the body is literally contoured around the drive shaft. Or maybe that's a linkage for one of these levers to go to the back end. I don't know. Well, all in all, I would say it's a pretty well done interior. I think the harnesses really make it pop. And then it's just nice to know that the dashboard isn't some street dashboard. The steering column also has the stalks there for the turn signal and wiper blades. Is there a logo in the steering wheel? I don't think I saw one, but maybe a race car wouldn't have it anyways. Probably wouldn't. You wouldn't be using an airbag seat steering wheel, so yeah, it's just plain in the middle. So nice gauges. Alright, good stuff. Alright, so here's the Hot Wheels Premium. You know, this is weird. It's never seen sunlight. It's in a display case in a hallway, which never sees sunlight. Yet this white is like not white at all. It's like yellowed, like it's been sitting in the sun for a while. I mean, the Tarmac Works is white. But look at this. It's like a cream color. I 3D printed my own wheels for that. And the blue is just too sky blue. It's not a dark blue. So Hot Wheels Premium, not the best effort. Not paying attention to the details of this car, but for a while it was the only casting of this car to my knowledge. So I guess it's good that this came along. It's definitely better than that. It's just that I think another brand like Inno or even Mini GT could do better than this. Alright, so this is garbage, so let's just put that away and look at some 164s. Mostly CMs. So here's a Lancia Delta S4. This is also from that period of crazy powered vehicles. And then the 205 Peugeot from 1985. I think this actually may have won the championship that year, or it's 1 year the 205 won. And then I do have the 037 by CMs here. It's an 83 San Remo version. Sadly, CMs isn't around anymore. CM apostrophe S. It was a Japanese brand. There's some Chinese brand CMs, but there's no apostrophe in that name, so it's a different brand entirely. Here's a random one. This is a Mitsubishi Starion, also from a Lombard Rally, but this is probably a different year. Yeah, 1984. And then Ford came back later on, did some more rallying, so then in 2001 we have this Focus. And then cars get bigger. This is a 2006 Focus. Oh, won the Manufacturers' Championship in 2006. I actually do have the Tarmac Works 037, but it's in some elaborate box, so I'm never going to show that model again. And after this video, you'll probably never see this model come out of its box again. It's just too annoying to open up. So that's another reason why all these extra parts, all these extra bubble packaging and stuff, it's just annoying, right? Yeah, you don't even want to remove it from the box and compare and look at other models with it. So this video will be the first and last time you see this casting, probably. You can look up all these other models in my channel. Okay, that panel gap. It's so bad. It's so bad. So I don't collect too many Tarmac Works hobbies, and I think this is the reason why. Yeah, it's just not for me. Yeah, again, I can totally get it if you want to do a diorama, because this is a really well detailed engine and suspension and all that stuff, but I just want to have the outside of the car look nice. That's just my personal taste. And I do feel the decals are annoying, because you literally have air pockets next to the door handles, and there's a chance they're going to just crack off in the future, so that's not good for long-term collecting, right? Alright, well, hopefully another brand will come along and do this better. Just, I wish CMs was still in business. They could have easily done this. Maybe they did do one, I just never bought it. I don't know. But I kind of feel like 64 or Mini GT would be good alternative companies to do this without all the opening garbage. Okay, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next diecast review. Bye.